I've had a couple of questions about the context dropper tool that I've been using in some previous videos to assist with some of my vibe coding. So yeah, I made this tool as a quick, easy way to take a collection of files in a project and bundle them into one big context file that I can upload when asking an AI agent or chatbot for an answer to something. So in this case, for example, um, I've got all of these little files here with a star on are included in the context. This one's not included yet, so I can add that just by dragging it in, or if I remove that from the context, we can also see that we can add files recursively in a given directory based on their file extension. So I can just say every Python file in here, include that, then we can see that also includes it. So when we hit the drop context button, it's going to create a context.txt file that I can then upload into a query on an AI agent. And it also pastes or copies into our clipboard a predefined prompt we can have in our project. So in this case, it describes the purpose of the context dropper program, and it's got room at the end to then ask the question for what I'd like to do next. So right now I have an example where I do have the ability to add a category on a given file. So this context generator.py file is the main program in terms of categories at the moment. So if I just choose to export that category of file, our context.txt file goes down from 176 kilobytes to 20 kilobytes. So we can shrink down the size of the context file by category. But what I would like to do is actually allow an individual file. So if we have a look here, we can assign or change categories, but it is a one-to-one relationship. So I'd like to make it a one-to-many relationship, because I would then also like to be able to have different groupings of categories and merge multiple categories when I'm covering different domains within a program. So that's going to be what we'll look to add right now using the context dropper tool itself. So if I drop the context of the full program, let's describe our issue there. Currently, we can assign a single category to our file in our application, and likewise we can only select a single category in performing our context action. I'd like to first implement the ability to assign multiple categories to a file. After we have completed that update, I would like to have selecting the current category also be a multi-select tool. Use the best dialog UI elements for the end user experience to accomplish this and gracefully update any database schemas to add to not break existing users setups. That should be enough to get us going there. So we'll let it think on that for a moment, and it's got our full context, and it's got a prompt that describes the program itself. Off we go. Okay, so it understands it's a big update, changing a lot of file relationships from one to one to many to many. And so we're going to update our database layer, a bunch of our UI components, and the main program. Now, I'll just quickly open up this project in VS Code. Okay, so VS Code, here we go. So we have a few files to change. So I'll just quickly close the program, and we have our database has a new migration process to it, and it's the database manager.py file we're going to update. So we're going to take our database manager.py, paste that in, and then we're going to update the next file. Oh, there's a lot in there. So the new widgets, so we've got our assign dialog and the combo box for the main filter. So that's going to be our dialog widgets Python files being updated. So we'll copy that. So dialog UI dialog widgets. There we go. Is that the full file? Yep. It's still thinking on the third update there to the main program. So we can see down here, while it still has the stop response, that means it's still outputting tokens. So here's our main program here. So we'll just give that a moment to think through all the changes it needs to do, and then we'll paste that in. It's thinking away. Should be able to go to the end and see it. Oh, it's done. There we go. Copy that in. So this is our main program here. There we go. Now we should be able to run that again. So if we just go Python context. Oops. My autocomplete, I wasn't reading what I was doing. I tried to run the database, not the program. The joys of recording live. Okay. So we're running the program. Now we have our ability to multi-select in here, and we can create new classes. So we could create a new category called add a new category. Oh, needs a name. We might call this one agent guides. Add that category, and now we can say that the app application purpose, we assign category and assign it to agent guides. Now we can say I want the main program and I want our agent guides. Drop that context and we're just getting those two files. So that's quite a nice graceful approach here. We can have everything or we can just do subcategories. And yeah, so if we wanted to make this any nicer, just another small change I saw as I was trying to do this before. I click on add category. Our expectation is we already typed the category name in. How about if we hit that and that's an empty field, it comes up with a dialog to enter the category name, which would be quite a simple workflow. So if we just copy that and go into here, we can say when hitting add category, when I haven't typed in a name for the new category, pop up a dialog box just to type that name in, then with the OK button, add that category. Just to make that flow a little bit more natural. Let's just do a wee update to the UI widgets there to fix that. Give it a second to finish thinking about the changes there. Copy that. Paste that. Rerun that. So now we can see if I was to go manage categories, I want to add a new one. So what's the new name? And we can just call this images. Okay, now we can take our images and we can assign it. Oh, it has to be in the context before I can assign a category. I can say that's part of the images. Yeah, granted. In this case, I don't actually want to put images in the context because that would be a binary file. That will just be a lot of noise in here. So I might remove that one, but make more sense for SVGs and stuff like that. So we'll just remove that. But yeah, one really handy tool with using the context dropper is just that ability also. So if I jump to another project here that's a little bit more complicated, point of sale system I've built up, when I drop that context, the main context is a little bit large. So in here I do have a summaries only context. That's a lot smaller. That's including some markdown API level summaries of all of the functions within the main program. So when I'm doing a query on this context, I can include the main context with all those markdown summaries to keep the context file small, because generally once you put in more than 200-300 kilobytes of code base into the chatbot there, it can get a bit overwhelmed and confused. So the smaller summary and then my description here for how it needs to work through that problem tells it to work off those summary descriptions, but anytime it needs to make a change, tell me which file it needs. And then it might tell me I need the custom widgets Python file. So straight from the context dropper, I can drag and drop that file in there too. And then carry on asking my questions. So yeah, that's the context dropper tool that I've been using, and it's helped me work on some fairly large projects and ask some complicated questions and keep it all within a chatbot rather than complete black box agent-driven vibe coding, which has its place too, and I've been dabbling with that, but yeah, supplying narrow contexts of data, being able to ask a question, has been doing the trick for me. Have a great day. I think that's all for this video. Bye.